Hello, friends. We are so excited to invite you to the upcoming author event at Elaine's Literary Salon at Elaine's Restaurant, 208 Queen Street in Alexandria, Virginia. I'm Hope Katz-Gibbs, PR Director of the Salon and producer of all of our author podcasts and videos on Incandescent Radio and Incandescent TV. Today, we are thrilled to spotlight international development consultant, global citizen, and author of 7 novels and 4 published short stories, Puja Guha. She was born into a family of acclaimed Indian architects and traveled with her parents as they worked on projects around the world. After graduating from the University of Pennsylvania, Puja completed her master's degree at the London School of Economics. Today, she works as an independent consultant on international development programs, primarily in Africa and South Asia, traveling to some of the most economically challenged countries in the world. You have so much knowledge. We can't wait to tap into that. So leveraging her scholarship, her ability to speak 5 languages, and her earnest goal of engendering global economic progress, she continues to learn about, support, and embrace new countries. She is also this amazing author. So welcome to Elaine's Literary Salon, where you will be our feature on Sunday, January 18th from noon to 3 p.m. So Puja, over to you. Tell us about your journey. Just, this is just a commercial, but get to it. Tell us about you and your books.
Thank you so much, Hope. First of all, thank you for having me. I'm super excited to come out to Alexandria in January. DC was home for a long time. Rockville, Maryland was. And so it's a great opportunity to come back out and venture into the author community there. My journey. Well, I published my first book in 2014, but it really started a lot earlier than that. I had the idea for what became my first book back in 2008. I was working my first job out of undergrad. I wasn't having the most fun with it. Good news, bad news, not all terrible, but I was visiting my parents in Kuwait on vacation, and this idea just occurred to me. Bam. I grew up reading books off of my dad's bookshelf, and a lot of those books were spy thrillers. So Frederick Forsyth, Le Carré, all kinds of thrillers, actually, not just spy thrillers, but also like John Grisham and things like that. And the idea for the first book just hit me. Kuwait has a really weird, nuanced political system. And it was just like, why wouldn't an assassin be hired by the most conservative faction within Kuwait's parliament to take out the much more progressive monarch, the emir? And we can go into more detail on those nuances if you'd like, but basically the emir fires parliament like fairly regularly, a couple times a year, and then he gets some things done, and then they are reelected, and then he can't get anything done. So and it happens over and over again. And so it just was like, well, why wouldn't that happen in the reality of a book, of a thriller? And so I had the idea to eventually write that book. And a couple years later, when I finally did get to it, I realized in the process of drafting it that this wasn't going to be just a hobby or a one-off thing. It was going to be something I did for the rest of my life. And it's been amazing. I mean, it's not always easy. I've had to experiment a lot to figure out my process and how to prioritize writing when, I think a lot of people with every best intent can be very emotionally supportive, but then when you take any risk to do anything like that, they're like, oh, but shouldn't you get a full-time job? I mean, isn't that what you should be doing? And a lot of authors do make it work with a full-time job and, setting writing time aside. So I'm not going to minimize the amount of effort and determination and discipline that takes. But for me, the main reason when I was finishing grad school that I wanted to go freelance and not work a full-time job where I kind of belonged to a company was so that I would have time and flexibility to do my writing. And luckily, I managed to figure it out. Actually, I mean, I did recently join another company, but it's not really a standard full-time role. It's more like we're growing the business together. So it's more of a extension and growth of my previous freelance work than it is um, the more like true salaried position, which is great and the right thing for so many people, but not what I wanted for myself. And So now, I mean, I write 5 days a week. It took me a lot of experimentation to figure that out. I write 5 days a week. I write to a word count target unless I'm doing revisions. Um, when I'm doing revisions, it sort of depends. But I also take a couple of writers' retreats every year, which is the most fun, but also the hardest work I do. I'll go somewhere for anywhere between 3 days would be the shortest, but I usually would do at least 5 days somewhere. Sometimes I've done significantly longer than that, and I have either a word count or a heavy, heavy revision target, and I hit it every day. But there's something about being away from home and being in a beautiful place and just waking up at 6 or 7 and just going straight to the computer, and you have less of the normal home obligations around and wonderful obligations, but around laundry and dinner and cooking and I don't know, just life that just opens up the productivity in a way that I don't find anywhere else. And then, I usually would hit that 3 to 5,000 word target by like 1 p.m. And then I spend the rest of the day hiking with my dog. That's my writing retreat routine. And so that's been really, really fun. And it amps up the speed of writing and creativity in a way that nothing else does.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been a great journey. And I've got to put a lot of the places that I have visited and worked in with my freelance and now again still international development and public policy work in the books and kind of use little nuances that I know because I lived or worked there for an extended period.
We can't wait to hear more about this at Elaine's Literary Salon on January 18th. Jeffrey James Higgins is our host, and he will do an amazing interview with you. This is just a tease, just a little sample of the writer's journey, which is what he so remarkably pulls out of the writers. Because, of course, it's about the books, and we want everyone to buy and read your books. But really, it's how do you get there, right? So that is the magic. And that is what we'll talk about on January 18th at Elaine's Literary Salon, 208 Queen Street at Elaine's Restaurant here in Alexandria, Virginia. Puja, we are so excited to have you. Before we jump off, tell us the names of several of your books and what the one you'll be particularly showcasing at the salon.
Well, absolutely. So 7 books. It's a lot of different names, but 5 of them are in a spy thriller series. The series is called the Ahriman Legacy. That's Ahriman. Ahriman. It's a Farsi word that means the spirit of destruction. And so the assassin character that I mentioned earlier, his code name is the Ahriman. Yeah, so the first book in that series will be the one I'm focused on because usually people like to start at the beginning. And that one is called The Spirit of Destruction, or Ahriman, The Spirit of Destruction, kind of like Star Wars and New Hope, sort of colon situation on the title. Yeah, I'm super excited to talk about it, about the places that I got to weave into the series. They're all really near and dear to me. I get to visit them every time I write about them. So absolutely, I'm super excited to come to Elaine's and dive into an amazing author community.
Awesome. So what we want people to do is log on to Eventbrite, and it's super easy to get there. All you need to do is type in pujaguha.eventbrite.com. That's pujaguha.eventbrite.com. Register for her amazing event on January 18th. Come have brunch. And Puja, we always offer an author's choice. So anyone that picks what you chose from the menu gets a $5 coupon to redeem when they come back to Elaine's again. And you chose the brunch entree, the Mediterranean omelet, excellent choice. And for the cocktail, the tequila mockingbird. Awesomeness. So we're so excited to come and have you speak, eat, drink, and play with us at Elaine's Literary Salon. So everyone, check it out, pujaguha.eventbrite.com, and come join us January 18th at noon for a fabulous brunch and this interview with this truly amazing international woman. Thank you, Puja.
Thank you so much, Hope. I can't wait to meet you in person.
Absolutely. Everyone, we'll see you soon. Elaine'sLiterarySalon.com.